Hey angels, welcome back to my channel. Today is Father's Day, and as many of you guys know, my father passed away 4 years ago from cancer. Growing up with my dad, he was like my best friend. He may have not been a perfect father, but he did what he could. With my siblings and I say we all turned out pretty well. He was really hardworking. He'd do what he could to bring me a Happy Meal every once in a while after work, which, you know, every kid loves Happy Meals. We'd go on small adventures with him and my mom when I was younger. I'd say growing up with him was fun, but sometimes not so fun. As you can tell, my dad had a bit of a drinking problem, but that didn't really affect him as much towards his kids. He tried his best to be the best he could. Around 6th grade, I lived with him and my aunt, and my cousin, and my uncle. And, you know, he worked, I think, at a factory or something. And for that whole year I lived with him, I got to bond more with just him. And I think it was around that time. Yeah, it was around that time when he discovered he had mouth cancer. And, you know, for a while he held that off as if, oh, I'm fine. My tongue is just swollen, I'll be okay. And over time it got so bad to the point when he went to the hospital, they had to take out half of his tongue. Had to do a skin graft to give him a tongue because he didn't have one. And it changed his speech. So after that, my dad's voice, the one that I remembered growing up, had changed. And you know, that affected me, really did, to watch my dad go through these things and not knowing what I could do to help. And as those years went on, he passed the first set of cancer. Then I think a few years later, they discovered he had brain cancer. They were able to take the brain cancer out, and he was fine for a while. And then the cancer spread to his bones. And by the time it was to his bones, there wasn't anything they could do to help him anymore. So around that time, he moved in with me and my mom, and at the time, her roommate. I'm gonna call him a roommate. And that's where he spent his last few months with me and my mom. You know, around that time, even though he was sick, he had the time to teach me to drive and spent as much time as he could with me. We went on adventures. They might have not been crazy, but he took me to point A and point B. He drove me to my first date with my boyfriend. You know, I will never forget that memory. Or the time that he bought me the last few items he had left. You know, I still have them. A stuffed animal on a pillow. He fought for as long as he could, you know, for his kids and his grandkids. I say he's a pretty good hero. He fought his demons, and he did a hell of a job with it. You know, what child doesn't miss their dad? I sure miss him every day. He was my best friend. Holidays are hard for me when it comes to him because, I don't have him around. Everyone, has a step parent and stuff. That helps. Having a stepdad, it's really helpful since my dad's been gone. But sometimes I just want my dad. There's no place like your own parents that are there for you. I know a lot of you guys out there probably are going through the same thing as me with losing a father at a young age. I lost my dad when I was 17. And I was in class that day. And that every morning I used to go to his room, tell him good morning. But something that morning told me, do not go in that room. Just go to school. He loves you. Just go. So by second period, I had gotten a call from my mom. They had called me down to the office. I looked at my friends when the teacher told me I had to go down. I was like, he better not be dead. I'm telling myself in the hospital, please don't be dead. Please don't be dead. Please don't be dead. Got to the office. The principal handed me the phone. And my mom goes, Angel, he's gone. And I dropped on my knees. The principal, a few teachers had to try to get me together. I didn't want to be touched. I was so upset. And the only way they got me off that floor was to get my boyfriend out of class because I didn't want anyone touching me. For the next few hours, I was struggling. I didn't want to go home. I didn't go home. I wasn't going home until they had him taken out of the house. I couldn't bear to see my dad like that. When I did get home, I was hurt. I didn't go in that room for months. I couldn't. And then when my mom took over the room to sleep in there, it was hard for me to walk up in there. It took me a really long time to cope with it. Sometimes I wish he was still here, just so I can talk to him and hug him and, tell him how much I love him, which I know he knows all this, but it's not the same for me. I try to tell people on a daily basis, appreciate your parents. If they're still here, stop being mean to them, because you will regret it. And I just miss him a lot, and it makes it hard for me. But at the same time, I have good memories with him. I watch him. I was with him every step of that way with that first treatment of cancer. I got to watch him ring that bell and how excited he was. Or the first time he got me in the car behind the wheel with him, how excited he was to tell me which way to go, to stop, and everything. Those are good memories. Or the last time, I spoke with him the night before, and he was just telling stories that weren't real, but I knew something was gonna happen. My dad was an amazing person, even with his flaws. All I have to say, appreciate your parents for as long as you can, because you don't know when they're gonna go away. Even if it's a grandparent, a cousin, an aunt, just appreciate them. Alright, guys.
Look into my eyes.